He punched me on my ear and pulled a knife out to my side, pulled the seat belt tight, and kept screaming at me to drive. What? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back. If you've been here before, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I have a matcha delish, and I wanted to start doing something new on my channel here where I get ready whatever while I read some pretty bizarre, insane Reddit stories, and I think that it would be really fun. So we're gonna try it out today, and I found some Reddit users talking about some of their worst dating stories. I haven't read them yet, and we're just gonna read. So I'm like a little bit nervous because I have no idea what this is going to entail and what these stories are going to talk about, but that's sort of the fun of it. I feel like some people have some insane stories. So if you have any Reddit forums that you want me to go through and talk about, sort of have my reaction on here while I get ready, comment them below, send me a DM, whatever. We can do that too. If you're interested in any of the products that I'm using, I'll have them linked in the description in my Amazon storefront if you're interested, and let's just hop right into it. Okay, our first Reddit user here. So he said, "Hi everyone, 2 years ago I moved from one corner of the US to the other to start a new graduate degree." He says that he lived in a very rural area and that it was hard for him to meet women as a man at the age of 28. He says that he's had some very awful experiences since moving and he just wanted to vent. So that's sort of what this post is. He says that the worst story happened, oh that scared me, during his first year in this new home. I met a girl on OkCupid and we went hiking with her 2 dogs. That sounds fun, honestly. I don't feel like people really use OkCupid that much. At least like the people I watch. I have never used dating apps, but I don't know. Do people use OkCupid? Maybe that's the first red flag. The date was already going badly and we had little to talk about. Okay, that's rough. We get to the end of the trail and one of her dogs jumped over a downed tree and impaled itself on one of the broken branches. What? Okay, that's not where I thought that this was going. I don't Oh, it had a huge hole in its side and was bleeding everywhere. Oh my gosh, that is so sad. He goes on to say that he tried to carry him, but the dog didn't trust him enough, so she had to carry him instead. We tried to take a shortcut back to her car, but they got lost and came out on a different road. Oh my gosh. I had to hitchhike back to her car. I drove 20 minutes to the emergency vet while she was in the back putting pressure on the wound and trying to calm her dog down. I can't get over that. Is so sad. We spent 2 hours at the vet while the dog was in surgery. He ended up being fine. Okay, that's great. My friend picked me up and I asked him to drive me to the bar. About 10 of my friends were there, and when I walked in, someone yelled, "How is the date, man?" To which I just motioned downwards at my blood-soaked clothes. I'll never forget their faces when they realized. Okay, that's just his first story. He has like 2 more, but already? I don't even know, like, how would I handle that situation? I wouldn't. I would just be like, you know what? This is it. Like, that is so awful and sad and awkward, and I'm glad the dog ended up being okay, but like, oh my gosh, how do you even handle that situation? Okay, this is their second story. I went on a date with a girl to a dinner and a movie. There's a nice Chinese place next to the theater, so we ate there. About 10 minutes in, she says she's going to be moving to Texas the next month. Says that he's looking for a long-term relationship, so obviously he's disappointed, but I wanted to give her a good time regardless. Just have fun. That makes sense to me. When we got our bill and fortune cookies, love by the way, she asked me to read my fortune. It said, "Enthusiasm could vastly improve your current situation." I guess she noticed I wasn't thrilled because her response was, "Well, it's not wrong." That is rude, honestly, because she's the one who's moving. Honestly though, like, why would you go on a date with somebody if you're moving. Like, that just seems like conflict of interest, personally. Okay, and then his third story is, most recently I met a girl I had tons in common with. Our first conversation was how we share a passion for a type of movie that I don't know how to pronounce. I think it's like an anime movie, and metal music. Two things I didn't expect from someone in the countryside, strictly just based on his experience. We texted constantly and things were looking good. Good. That sounds good. Things are about to take a turn, I fear. I finally felt like I was going to really connect with someone. Ooh. On Saturday, I woke up to a text rejecting me. Wait, what? Maybe he means like he tried to make it like an official relationship rather than just dating, if that makes sense. Her family was visiting and her sister couldn't make it. Turns out they decided to give the sister's tickets to her ex without telling her. Needless to say, her ex surprised her at the airport and the next day they were back together. All I gotta say is yuck. That's a yuck. After all of these other negative experiences, it felt like a kick in the butt to get so close and be screwed over by another weird situation. That's fair. So that's sort of the start of this conversation, and then there's a bunch of other people commenting on his experience with their own shared odd, weird dating experiences, which I guess we'll get right into now. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know why. So some of these are a lot shorter. Somebody responded to that previous man's dating stories by saying, not sure if it counts, but here it goes. I had a bad breakup with my girlfriend 2 years ago. She was my first and only girl I've dated, and I did so much for her. Already, I'm gonna pause right there and say that's rough, and I've only been in one relationship and I'm still in it, and I can already tell you that I can't imagine how hard that would be to move on and get over. That's so sad already. She went to a vacation trip. She came back and picked me up in her car. She broke up with me the day she came back. I was so devastated and depressed. We were still snapping each other and talking a little bit. I acted like I was okay, but to get her back, I said that I met a new girl. I'm not sure that's a good idea. This new girl was fake and made up. They basically are saying that they made up this whole story just to make her jealous, to try and get her back. I don't know how to tell you all this, guys. That doesn't work, so don't try that. I said, Amanda, the girl I met, asked me out to a date. My ex was surprised, and I thought I made progress. I literally set up a fake date to Starbucks. I told my ex I was in a date with Amanda. I rode my bike all the way down to Starbucks in the rain. The nearest one is 6 miles away. I bought 2 drinks and sat at a table by myself. I posted it on my Snap story so my ex would see it. I made it so it seemed like I was on a date, but in reality I was all by myself in Starbucks. I remember riding my bike back home and crying. Aww. I don't know what the goal there was. I don't know. It's sad in a way that I feel like we've all been there. I feel like we've all felt that before, you know, that feeling of like rejection and just trying to make it seem like we're okay, and like, I don't know, that whole cool girl act never works. It never works. I don't even have any crazy date stories, so I do kind of feel like a fraud sitting here reading these ones out. But okay, let's move on to the next story. It reads, my ex from a long time ago somehow knew I was back in town. Pause. Already. Yikes. They texted me to meet up for a date and have fun, so I agreed because I'm an idiot. Their words, not mine. And drove a little up north to meet her. We met by a gas station so I could pick her up. She lied about her car being broken and undrivable. When I showed up, she asked to use my cell phone to call her mom, who supposedly ran a towing company. She took my phone, dialed a number, and only said, yes, go for it, and hung up. I hear my rear door open and a bigger dude jumped in and asked me to start driving. I asked him who he was. She says, just listen to him. He punched me on my ear and pulled a knife out to my side, pulled the seat belt tight, and kept screaming at me to drive. What? Long story short, I was able to convince them into letting me get us a hotel room. I told the front desk guy to go to the phone and call the police, and I threw my key behind the counter. They both ran and were later caught by the police. Both are drug addict fugitives with tons of warrants. That is genuinely terrifying, and I am so glad that you made it out okay. I can't even imagine being in that situation. That must have been, I mean, that just sounds so scary. I don't know, and it doesn't seem you know what the goal was there. What they were trying to do, but oh my gosh. You hear about this stuff happening all the time and you never think it'll happen to you until it does. Like, alright, here is our next story. Met a girl at the bar and we went back to her place and hooked up. No intercourse. Okay. Over the next week, she started showing up everywhere that I would go and gave off really stalkery vibes. Yikes. Okay. And we've only been on one date? Okay. So next time she showed up at the bar I frequent, I politely told her I didn't see things going anywhere romantically. She seemed to take it well, but continued to hang around me, joining me for smoke breaks, even though she didn't smoke. I started to get low-key really annoyed. That's fair. That's sort of an awkward situation. We started talking about people who also work in the area, and I brought up my friend and coworker, one of the nicest guys I know. She said, "Oh, that guy? I read a Facebook post about him. He's a bad dude." At this point, I'm super annoyed, and I told her I wasn't just going to believe that my good friend is a bad person because of something someone read on Facebook. She flipped out. We have a skeptic. We have a skeptic in our midst. Started screaming at me for being an apologist. My two good female friends, strong feminist women of color, sitting next to me, tell her she needs to chill out. She said, have you ever been ard? I can't say that word on YouTube. Sexually assaulted to the most extreme degree. They started taking out their earrings in case they had to fight her, and the bartender tells her she needs to get out. She refuses and keeps ranting at the bartender, who is normally the sweetest girl ever, puts her in a chokehold. She makes her body go limp as she's dragged out and told to never come back. Let's do one more story while I do my lips. I met this guy. He seemed so cool, so I agreed to go out with him even though I didn't know him very well. He knew some friends, so I felt safe. We went to dinner, and while we were eating, I cracked a funny joke, as I'm often to do, and he laughed with an open mouth. I know you're thinking it was a mouthful of food. Nope. I noticed that he seemed to have, the only way I can describe it, very high teeth, meaning that when he laughed, I couldn't see his teeth, when I was sure I had seen them earlier in the evening. I excused myself to go to the restroom, and as I was walking back to the table, I saw him pull some uppers, fake teeth, out from under a napkin and put them in his mouth. 1, you're way too young to have fake teeth, and 2, what happened to your teeth? Okay, so this one I feel like there could be a very simple explanation that happens to people all the time, but it is sort of like, I can understand how your brain is just going like everywhere, like, wait, what is happening? That is our last story for today. Here's the makeup. It's pretty cute. I like it. Let me take out my hair and I'll be right back. And here's the finished look with the hair and the makeup and everything. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making this. If you're interested in more of this kind of content, definitely let me know. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. And of course, if you really like me, make sure you follow me on all of my other social medias at Cassidy Lee Quinn on TikTok, at Cassidy Lee Quinn on Instagram, go shop my closet at Cassidy Lee on Depop, and go shop my Etsy at By Cassidy Lee on Etsy, linked in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you around. Bye!